Good morning, everyone. I hope you're ready to kick off a great second half of the year. So, to start off, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're doing our worksheets. We want to make sure that every week we're doing that review and that we understand going into the next week what our three critical tasks are, what we did well, what we challenged, what challenges we had. And so that we can start to have this intentional plan going into weeks. Do a review of the first 6 months and really see where you ended up. See and understand what you did well, where your challenges were. I know a lot of you are having a phenomenal first half of the year, and don't let your foot off the gas. You have this momentum, but keep growing, keep pushing yourself. The second half can be better than the first half, which was better than most of you had last year. And so what I would tell you is this is a time when a lot of people are experiencing success and they sort of stop doing all the things that got them that success, which sort of starts this cycle of roller coaster, which makes it mentally tough when you're sort of used to and you have the adrenaline rush of doing well, and then you drop off a little bit. So keep reviewing, keep pushing. What I really want to start off with today is just about our problem is not that we dream too big. Our problem is that we settle for too little. And what I mean by that is sometimes we experience success, and it might be the greatest success we've had in our life. It might be whether it's financially or personally or spiritually, it doesn't matter what it is. We could be feeling better about our situation than we ever have in our lifetimes. And while that's a great thing, that doesn't mean that we can't do 2 times that or 10 times that or do that type of success in all areas of our life, whether it's physically with our health, or whether it's financially, or whether it's just, the feeling of being successful, whether it's in our relationships. Just understand that it's okay to dream bigger. It's okay. Give yourself permission to do bigger things. We talk about it all the time in the program, and I know you guys hate those morning videos. I know they're super hokey and uncomfortable for some of you, and you just don't like it and you don't believe in it. But your brain is biologically wired a certain way, and you can't change that. And medical studies and psychological studies have shown the way your brain is wired. And the moment you expand what you believe, the moment you give yourself permission to think differently, to dream differently, to expect bigger, your brain will work on solving all of those problems. And so your problem is not that you dream too big. The problem is that you settle for too little. And even if you are at the pinnacle of your productivity, even if you're at the pinnacle of what you've ever produced in your life, just understand you're capable of more. As human beings, we use such a small portion of our brain. We use such a small portion of what we're capable of that we have to understand that we just need to think bigger. On a regular basis, we need to think bigger. We need to expect more of ourselves. And when we do that, our brain will solve that puzzle for us. So if you're having a great year, think about even now what double what you're producing would mean to you. And it's not just about money, it's about having the opportunity for freedom. The more money we have, the more choices we have. The more money we have, the more opportunity we are opened up to do things that we didn't think was possible. Go places we didn't think we could see. But even in a business sense, it gives you opportunity to maybe bring on staff that does some of the things that allow you to do the things that you're good at and really specialize, or for you to concentrate on going and growing the business while somebody else is sort of doing the tactical stuff, just getting things through the process from contract to close. And not that you're not going to be involved in that, but there's certain things that don't need to be done. There's certain questions that can be answered. There's certain things that can be processed by someone other than you. But we don't think bigger. We don't think big enough to say, okay, this is the position I'm going to put myself in so I can continue to grow my business. so I can continue to produce at a very, very high level and not hit that roller coaster, because that's very, very difficult to deal with mentally when we're so used to this success and all of a sudden we have a down month, or we have down 2 months, or down 3 months. So what I would tell you is, if you're doing well right now, take that momentum and think bigger. Don't take your foot off the gas. If you're still growing and you're not feeling this, I'm really at the height that I've ever been at, then I would challenge you to keep thinking bigger and let your brain work on making that reality. And it's the example I give, and I've said it before, but we'll cover it again because repetition is super important. The example I give is, if you walk out into the world and you say that I'm not attractive, if that's your belief, or that, I'm okay looking, I'm not a movie star, but I'm okay, your brain is going to feed you evidence that that is the reality. If you walked out in the world and you said I'm attractive, your brain will feed you the evidence that will create that reality. Your brain is taking in millions and millions of pieces of information every second. When we drive, or when we walk, or when we do things, our eyes see everything. Our ears hear everything. Our nose smells everything. But because of the way our brain is wired, what ends up happening is our brain disregards most of that information, because our past experience, our past education has told our brain what to look for. Our belief system told our brain what to look for in the world. And so what happens is, as we get all this information, all these smells, all these sights, all these sounds, our brain disregards most of it. And the problem is that our brain could be disregarding information that's very, very important to our future success. So when we tell our brain to focus on something different, it gives us that new input. And as we get that new input, we use that information to create a different reality, to create different results, if you will. That's why we talk about visualization, because visualization gives our brain experiences that it can't distinguish from reality of us being successful. It creates a new confidence. The confidence creates a new belief. The new belief creates a new reality. Your problem is not that you think too big. Your problem is that you settle for too little. Give yourself permission today to think big. Give yourself permission to have your brain work on a different reality. And so what I'd like you to do is just take a few minutes and write down what the second half of the year could look like if you think big. Think really big. Think 4 times what you did in the first half. Think 2 times what you did in the first half. But think big for the second half of the year, and don't make excuses that it's hot and the population's smaller and December, people don't buy homes because people don't refinance because of Christmas. Get your brain focused on the reality of what it would be like to think bigger. What it would be like to have a different reality where the results were 2 times as much, or 4 times as much, or 10 times as much. Your problem is not that you think too big. Your problem is that you settle for too little. Get your brain focused on much, much larger results, and then let it go to work for you. So guys, have an amazing week. Remember, do the worksheets. We're going into the second half of the year. Start to create those habits. We're going to do goal setting in October. We really need to be dialed in. I sent out the critical numbers sheet last week. Start getting those critical numbers accumulated so that when we're in October, we have a really good foundation of understanding your activity levels that it takes to get a close. Guys, have an amazing day. Do your worksheets. Do your worksheets. Do your worksheets. New workbooks coming out next week. I'll get those to everybody in the next week or so. Guys, have an amazing week.